there are some of you that are involved in relationships right now where one of you has changed your spiritual connection with your Creator and one of you has not. One of you has experienced a spiritual rebirth. You've become more connected with your higher power, and the other person has not. They are resisting, they're hesitant, they have no interest at all. And you're still with this person. And you're starting to go through a little hell right now. Now, I know you're trying to stick to your vows and you're trying to be devoted, but you know that your day-to-day is not going to be peaceful. See, what you're doing is you're taking that person's behavior and you're chalking it up to the devil or demons or evil forces and everything else. But see, that person is being the same person that they were when you met them. You are the one that has changed. The both of you are not taking this spiritual journey together, and you need to accept that. Maybe that person will come around, maybe not. But as of today, right now, you're on a different spiritual level than the person that you're living with. And you need to decide how that's going to change. Because, see, it has to change. It can't be a situation where, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go to temple, mosque, church, or whatever and do what I need to do, and they could do whatever they want. No, that's not the correct approach. And you know that leads to disaster. Things are not going to get better just because you chose to do your own thing. And you just hope that maybe that they'll pay attention and get on board, and maybe that they'll show an interest in what you're doing because you're not around as much. That's a very huge risk to take. And every time that person behaves in a way that they've always been behaving all this time before you got reborn, you want to chalk it up to the devil, you want to chalk it up to demons, you want to chalk it up to some kind of mysterious force out there, evil ancestors, whatever you want to call it, you want to chalk it up to that. But the truth is, you are unequally yoked. Period. You're unequally yoked. See, people have to understand, people don't have to be single and be unequally yoked prior to marriage. You could be married and be unequally yoked after you get married. It's about what level you are in your spirituality. See, the two of you could have been at the same level when you got married, but I don't know, a situation could have came up, it could have been trauma, it could have been something that made you decide that you want to change your ways. You want to change the way you live your life. You weren't satisfied. You wanted to make that spiritual connection with that higher power. And even though a lot of couples do choose to do it together, a lot of them do it apart. And that's the thing. So now that you're starting to see things in different eyes, because that's what happens when you develop a spiritual awakening, you see things differently, you think differently, and you have a different approach. Because of that, you turn around and project those negative feelings onto your partner. All of a sudden, they're demon possessed. You're having people from the church or the temple coming by talking about they want to bless the house and they want to sit there and try to lay hands on them. That is, if your partner Eve allows it. You're running around with them and they're trying to tell you how evil this person is and how they're going to pray the demon out of them. Little do they know that was the same demon that you married. Nothing changed about that person. You're the one who has changed. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Spiritual awakening is wonderful. A lot of us live our entire lives and never have a spiritual awakening. That's a blessing. But you have to check your attitude when you do have one. You've got to understand, just because you have a spiritual awakening and you're sharing the same household and raising the same family and sharing the same bed with this person, it's automatically supposed to just spill over onto them, and it doesn't work. If that person hasn't decided in their mind that they want to go on this spiritual journey with you, you need to decide what your next course of action is going to be. You're going to have to decide what you're going to do. If you choose to stay in the relationship, then go ahead and try to arrange for some kind of counseling or something, because the two of you cannot exist in the same household unequally yoked, because that's exactly what it is. You're unequally yoked now. You weren't before, but you're unequally yoked now. So you're going to have to take some kind of responsibility and figure out what's going on. And the reason why I say this is because I know a lot of people that weren't spiritually awakened when they got married to this person, and somewhere down the line they're going to go ahead and change their spirituality. And what they did is they went ahead and focused on themselves with the hopes that the other person would change, instead of taking that journey together. So you're gambling on the possibility that maybe this person will change. But the problem is just because you live with them all this time, you finally realize that you don't have as much control over the shit that's going on in their head as you thought you did. And now you're running around here depressed, and you're running around here, complaining to every single person within earshot. You got the prayer line heated up. You got Facebook heated up. You got all these warriors and everything interceding on your behalf for a situation where you have to use just simple common sense and decide how you're going to do your day-to-day with this person in your life from now on. That's all it is. You don't have to get 100 people on a prayer line involved. You don't have to get 20 counselors from the mosque involved. You don't have to do all this. All you have to do is decide, okay, I'm at this level and the other person's back over at this level. How do I deal with it from day to day? What are we going to do to make this thing work? Because as far as the other person is concerned, they're going to keep on doing what they need to do. And then some of them even have issues with you doing it. And see, the thing about a spiritual awakening is you can't shrug that thing off once you get involved. You can't go back through that door once it's open. You may slip a little bit here and there, but once you've made that connection, it's hard to cut it. It's hard to cut it because you know what the consequences would be if you cut it. So I just say this to say this. If you're one of those people where you are living in a household where you've decided to go in one direction spiritually and your partner is still where you used to be and is not interested in making those changes, some decisions need to be made on how the two of you are going to get along from this point. Because you both made vows to be together for better or for worse. So this is one of those situations where it's worse. And what some of you are doing is, instead of addressing the situation head on and saying, look, this is the path that I've chosen to make and blah, 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 and it's not going to change. Because sometimes some of y'all need to verbalize that to your partner, because your partner might not be taking you seriously, and that's probably why they're not budging. They're probably thinking it's some kind of phase you're going through. So you might have to verbalize and let them know how serious and committed you are, and just let them know that you want them to be a part of the process, or you need to find out where they're coming from. Let them know, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Really, you should have had a discussion with your partner about this before you did it. Really should have. Because that's part of the reason why your partner doesn't want to get involved, because they're probably feeling a little disrespected because you didn't come to them before you made this major move. I mean, really, think about it. Think about it from the standpoint of a regular person. You got a wife, and I'm just going to equate this to something material, Let's just say one day you come home and your wife is looking one way, hair looking a certain way, eyes looking a certain way, body looking a certain way, wearing a certain type of clothes and everything else. You go to work one day and then you come home later on that afternoon and she done chopped all her hair off, done put in contacts, went over to the the little plastic surgery guy over on the corner by the 7-Eleven, has some stuff done, so she's taped up, and then she's, trying to look like she's 20 years younger. The house is totally switched around. There's a different car in the driveway, and you're wondering if you walked in the same house. You don't know where you are, and you don't know what's going on. This is what these people feel like when you pop up with this new spiritual awakening. They feel that they're living in a different house with a different person. And some of them don't react to that very well. So really, before you take on the spiritual journey, what you should do, out of respect for your partner, is you should bring it up. Now, if it's a situation where it's brought up and they don't agree with it and you feel in your heart it's the best thing to do, that's different. But no, for you to just pop up out of the blue and say, I'm going to do so and so and so, and don't even give your partner any consideration in the matter, or you just do it and don't say anything, that's a problem. So that's probably part of the reason why your partner didn't get involved in the first place, because they felt that that you didn't respect them enough to even approach them with this. You're changing their whole lifestyle and the way they live without giving any consent. You've done that. So now that you've done it, and you flipped and turned everything upside down. Now, mind you, now you did this without discussing it with them, and you did this, without their input or anything. They just came home one day and started to see that you were acting strange. On top of that, you turn around and you want to say that they're possessed of demons and devils, and you got people from your organization running in and out the house, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy. I mean, so all of a sudden they're the bad guy. You see where I'm going with this? I mean, you might want to call me playing devil's advocate or whatever, but I'm trying to look at both sides of the situation. I applaud the fact that you want to uplift yourself spiritually, but see, the thing is, you got to understand, when you have a partner, you have to discuss things. It's not just about finances or who's going to watch the kids tonight. If you got something internally going on, you need to share that with your partner as well. You chose to give yourself to this person, not just your assets and your time. You need to let them know what's going on internally. So, but yeah, running around here and saying, okay, well, I'm going to do my thing and he's going to do his thing. That's a divided household, people. That's a divided household. And playing the blame game does not solve any problems. So I just wanted to put that out there because I feel somebody needs to hear that. And that's how come the relationship is not going anywhere. That's how come there's always problems going on in the household, because that house is divided. So do whatever prayer, meditation, counseling you need to do to kind of work on yourself to see what you're going to do about the situation from this point on, and see if you can get your partner involved in the process. And maybe they will learn and understand where you're coming from. And maybe if you give them just a little bit more respect in that regard, they might join you in that journey. Just don't know. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just saying.